All right, good morning, YouTube. What's up, everyone? This is Boxingwave. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right, hit that bell notification for me as well, so you'll be alerted whenever I drop new content. All right, let's talk Dereck Chisora against Tyson Fury. This is going to be the trilogy. This is the third fight between the two. A fight that no one really asked for. All right, at a time where everyone is looking for unifications and undisputed in the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury holding the WBC title, and he will be defending it this Saturday, December 3rd, live on BT Sports if you're out in the UK. But if you're here in the States, you can watch it on ESPN Plus. All right, it won't be a pay-per-view or anything like that, at least not for the US. All right, so basically, let's talk about this fight. I did some film study, and even though I know where I'm going to go with the fight, I did some film study basically to see what exactly could Dereck Chisora do in order to win this fight, being that he's already lost twice to Tyson Fury. All right, the first fight, he lost a decision to Fury. This is like back in like 2011. This is a long time ago. All right. It was a pretty competitive fight, even though Fury on the cards was pretty wide. Dereck Chisora did have his moments. He was able to catch Fury with some big shots in the fight, and they eventually fought each other again a few years later. All right. This is before Fury had the Klitschko fight. This is before he had retired for a couple of years. So they had a rematch, and Fury was able to stop Chisora maybe around the 8th round. Can't remember the exact round, but Fury's able to stop Chisora, and he basically won every round leading up to that. All right, I remember watching that fight live. It was a domination, and now we're here for a third fight. Third fight, again, no one really asked for it. Everyone wants to see Fury against Joshua or Usyk for undisputed, or some of the other guys like a Joe Joyce or something like that. Not many people are asking for a third Chisora rematch. Chisora, yes, can still pick up a good win here and there. Yes, he can give us a good fight, a good performance. He's done it plenty of times. We know that he's not a quitter. We know that he has heart. We know what he's all about. Dereck Ward Chisora, we love him. As a boxing fan, many of us love him. That's from the UK fans. Even a lot of the American fans support Dereck Chisora. No one really dislikes him because he always gives us a good fight. Even in defeat, he's lost to so many people. We still love him, all right? The thing is, it's just the timing of it. It really doesn't make sense. It's not like Chisora is doing anything right now that makes anyone feel that he has a chance of winning this fight, especially because he already lost twice, being stopped in the most recent fight of theirs. Fury has only gone up so many levels since their rematch. Okay, beating Klitschko, beating Deontay Wilder, having 3 fights with him, and then going on to beat Dillian White. It just doesn't really make sense right now to have this fight. But since we are having this fight, and I will be doing live commentary on the fight this weekend. I will be doing live commentary for the Roman Gonzalez, Juan Francisco Estrada trilogy as well. Another trilogy that's coming up this Saturday. One that's actually really warranted as compared, as opposed to this one. We're getting this fight this weekend. And basically, I wanted to do some film study to see exactly what can Chisora do differently in this fight so he can have some more success. The problem with all of this, it's like all the advantages go to Tyson Fury here, going into the fight. Just about everything, all right? When it comes to the resume, all right? When it comes to their dimensions, Fury is like 6'8". He has like 85-inch reach, okay? He's undefeated. He's like 32 wins, 23 knockouts. Only 1 draw against a very disputed draw against Deontay Wilder in that first fight. All right, he's still undefeated. All right, and again, his resume, I already talked about it. He has big wins in his career. Whereas Dereck Chisora, he's 38 years old. All right, Fury's only 33. Chisora's been in there. He's been in there in a lot of wars. All right. You know, he's 33 wins, 23 knockouts. He has like 12 losses. And, you know, it's like, look, we know what Chisora is going to bring. If anybody knows what Chisora is going to bring, it's going to be Tyson Fury. And the problem with this fight here is when you look at the rematch, if you look like what I did, I went back and watched the entire first fight, right? Went back and watched a rematch right after. And you can see the growth in Fury from the first fight to the second fight. It's like two different guys. Everything that Fury did well, he did better in the rematch. And all of the mistakes he did in the first fight, he got rid of them. All the flaws he had in the first fight was gone. And it seemed like Dereck Chisora, he's bringing the same fight every time. You know, he's always fighting these taller guys. Dereck Chisora is 6'1", you know, 6'1 and a half, 75-inch reach. You know, all he could do is get low and look for one big shot. You know, these big looping right hands and left hands. He's throwing them over and over. Neither one of the Fury fights, he had much of a jab in that fight. You know, so I'm looking for things that he can do to possibly win or at least give Fury some sort of trouble. You know, because after he was dominated in the rematch, it's like, what exactly are we doing here having this trilogy? So I had to go back and like think of other fights where Chisora had some success against other opponents in order to see exactly what he could do here to give Fury some sort of trouble, you know, like some sort of trouble. You know, maybe not win the fight, but at least make it a little bit more competitive, or at least as competitive as the first one. At the bare least, not get knocked out. You know, maybe catch Fury with a big shot, maybe drop him. You know, we're looking for something because Fury is coming off of a good streak. You know, he just knocked out Dillian White earlier this year, right? He stopped Wilder twice, right? Stopped him twice, right? Was able, you know, he went the distance to Otto Wallin, all right? But he's a totally different style from Dereck Chisora, all right? More, I guess you could compare Usyk. You could look at the Wallin fight and say, all right, these are some of the things that Usyk could do to give himself some success. But as far as Chisora, not really. There's nothing really there. All right, and he stopped Tom Schwartz. You know, he's been on a good streak. In his last 3 fights, he got stoppages. He's with Jerron Sugar Hill. You know, he's sitting down on his punches. He's looking for the KO. He's going to be looking for the KO in this fight. I'm sure of it. You know, he's coming a bit heavier. But, you know, we've seen him at over 270. We've seen him at over 260 or 264. Even with the added on weight, he's still quicker than Dereck Chisora. He still moves better than Dereck Chisora. He's still slicker than Chisora. He's still better defensively than Chisora. He does everything better, you know. So one thing that I remember in the Chisora fight against Usyk, you know, I skimmed a little bit through it. I didn't like sit and watch it, but I skimmed through it early this morning. And I realized that Chisora, who was very aggressive in that fight, he was doing a lot. Like he was switching from orthodox to southpaw a lot. He was using, you know, different angles a little bit. He was being very awkward. All right, he was throwing a lot of jabs. All right, a lot of jabs. It was giving Usyk some trouble. He was going to the body a lot. He was just being, you know, a madman in that fight. He was trying to bully the smaller fighter. So when I looked at that fight, I said, okay, these are some things that I can see Chisora doing to throw off Tyson Fury. You know, use some jabs. Let's see some jabs in there. Let's stop just winging the big right hand or the big left hand. Let's get something in it. Let's set it up a little bit. Let's make it where it's not so predictable, where Fury is looking for it every single time. So I see certain things that Chisora that he did in that fight where I think could work for him. But I realize as I'm watching a fight, he's only doing this and he's having success because he's fighting a much smaller man. You know, a guy that's about 50, 60, 50 pounds less than Tyson Fury, roughly. You know, so he's being a bully against a smaller man who don't have the height, don't have the reach, don't know how to use distance as well as Fury. Fury has those long arms. He's so tall, you know, and he moves so well. Whereas, yes, Usyk is a good fighter. You know, he knows how to use the range and everything, but he just doesn't have those arms. You know, he doesn't have that size. Fury is just massive compared to him, and he punches much harder. So Chisora had to be a lot more cautious in his fights against Fury because he's fighting a bigger man. So those tricks that he was doing in that fight, you can't just do them because you got to worry about getting punched in the face by a much bigger, more powerful man. So I don't see exactly what Chisora could do to win. I do think he needs to take some of those tools. I always thought, like, while I'm watching the first fight between the first and second fights between the two, that Chisora should at least set up the punches, the right hands, using a jab, you know, use a jab, go to the body a little bit more, you know, pace yourself. Like, we seen that Chisora knows how to pace himself better. I mean, these fights were years ago. So when you watch the Joseph Parker fights, even though he lost both of those fights, you see the Joseph Parker fights, he fought certain periods of each round. We saw a little bit of that in the first fight with Fury where, you know, he would be getting punished and then out of nowhere, he'll just explode on Fury. All right, so learn how to pace yourself. Learn how to, you know, jump on opportunities to explode on Fury. You know, make it look like you're taking it easy, and out of nowhere, you rush him. But still, you got to worry about what's coming right back at you. You know, and Fury is a master at using distance. You know, we saw that in the rematch as opposed to the first fight. So first fight was more of a fun fight, you know, because Fury was always in, you know, he was always kind of in range. You know, he was throwing jabs from a closer distance. You know, he's leaning forward, he's throwing jabs. So it was easier to counter him because he was so close while he was throwing the jabs. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for Chisora to throw those big looping right and left hands and countering Fury's jab because Fury was a lot closer. In a rematch, it was a little different. Not only was Fury outside of range a lot more often, right? He was leaning back, throwing a jab from further out, right? Throwing the right hands behind him. But whenever Chisora like kind of charged right in to get in close, Fury had that check left hook that he would throw, right? And it was so short and quick that Chisora would run right into it. So that kind of disabled Chisora from just charging in and getting in range. Not only that, whenever he got in range, Fury would just smother his punches by using his size and his height to just lean over him. So Chisora couldn't really attack on the inside. You didn't see that much in the first fight. You saw it in the first fight where Fury wasn't as good as opposed as he was in a rematch. So Fury can also do that here. But Fury can turn it around and be the aggressor, similar to Joseph Parker in a rematch, where Fury might begin to walk him down. Now he's with Javon Sugar Hill. He's coming forward. He's sitting down on his power a little bit more. You know, he has all the advantages going into this fight and all the keys to knock Chisora out. You know, not stop him, not make him retire in his not go the distance or make him retire in his corner, but to actually knock him out, you know, in ways that we've seen Chisora get knocked out before. You know, how many times did Parker drop him? If Fury, who is a bigger puncher, a bigger man, a better boxer than Joseph Parker, and Parker was able to hurt and drop Chisora throughout their rematch, What do you think Tyson Fury is going to do? He's better. He's way better than Joseph Parker. He's only going to do more damage. So what exactly can Chisora do? Well, hope for the best. You know, I mean, he has a puncher's chance. But even in that category, Fury, you know, even with all the knockdowns he's had throughout his career, he's been dropped a good amount of times in his career. He's always managed to get up and recover really quickly and turn the fight around after getting dropped. You know, with that being said, even if Chisora managed to actually hit him with a good shot or possibly buzz him or even drop him, chances are Fury's going to get back up and put a beating on him. You know, because we've seen it plenty of times before from bigger punchers. All right? Some from other guys, like a Deontay Wilder. You know? And we can't dismiss Fury's last fight against, you know, Dillian White. He made Dillian White look very, very average in their fight. He made him look average. And he knocked him out with an uppercut. One last thing, too, that Chisora has to worry about here is that Fury can just go southpaw and pummel him like he did in the rematch. You know? In a rematch with Tyson Fury, Fury was having a lot of success when he was fighting as a southpaw. You know? Landing straight left hands, straight down the pipe. Right through the guard of Chisora. Chisora started coming in with that high guard. Yo, Fury was punching around that guard. He was punching through the guard. All right, he was throwing and landing uppercuts as Chisora was charging in from a southpaw position. Fury has way too much of an arsenal for Chisora. Defensively, offensively, all right, durability, youth, all right. He's had the better performances. He has the height, the reach, the size advantage, the speed, the athleticism. He has every single advantage going into this fight. And he beats Chisora in this trilogy. All right, he stops him. I don't know what round. You know, I think Chisora, the first round or two, he's going to be pretty aggressive. But I think as early as the first round, Fury, you know, is going to neutralize him. And he's going to have his way with Chisora. And at some point, he's going to hit him with a shot that's big enough to knock him out. And he's just going to finish him off. You know? I don't know how many rounds. You know, I'm thinking around 5-ish. But it really depends on what Fury wants to do. You know, because I think whatever angle or whatever way Chisora is going to try to bring to Fury, it won't be enough. You know, even if he tries to fight an awkward fight like he did against Usyk, a lot of that is simply because Usyk was smaller and he was more willing to take the chances in that fight. He can't take those kind of chances against Fury because he'll get hurt, he'll pay for it, and he'll go to sleep even earlier, even sooner. This is basically a tune-up for Tyson Fury at this stage. No disrespect to Chisora because he's a good fighter and he gives everybody a tough fight, almost every fighter. Fury is not one of those guys. All right, Fury is going to make easy work of him, and that'll be that. All right, hopefully we get the Usyk undisputed fight next. All right, so anyway, Fury by knockout. No big surprise there. But still got to break these fights down. I don't think Chisora has much of a chance. I think he just needs to mix it up, be awkward, change stances, throw jabs, go to the body. Definitely use the jab, though. But it won't be enough. All right, I'm out of here. Please, again, subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button if you like the content. And I'll see you on the next one with Chocolate Tito against Estrada 3. I'm out. Peace.